The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our Evolve 365 Microsoft Tips and Tricks session today. We wanted to start this weekly series to give simple and easy tips that anyone can go back to their desk and quickly implement. We know your time is valuable, so we'll keep sessions to no more than 30 minutes, sometimes less. We'll push the topics out monthly, so you only have to sign up once for the monthly series instead of 4 or 5 times. If you missed last week's session, don't worry. Every session is on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Planet Technologies. So a little about myself. I'm Tanya Kaiser, and I'm your host for today. I have more than 15 years experience with project management across multiple industries, including technology, legal, nonprofit, and construction. I'm also a longtime Microsoft geek and a big SharePoint nerd. One of the things that I enjoy is helping people learn a new skill with a tool they're familiar with or completely brand new skill with another application. If you ever have any questions after our sessions, please feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn. So a little about Planet. Planet has been providing expert support in the Microsoft world for over 18 years. We offer full services for the entire Microsoft Cloud and Productivity Suite, including advisory, deployment and training services, mobile application development and solutions, and strategic business consulting, including technology, compliance, and security guidance. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. Today we're going to take a look at Delve and how you can discover documents and more with this new tool that's built into Office 365. So Delve may be something that a lot of people haven't really heard about. Coming direct from Microsoft, this is a tool that's going to help you discover the information that's likely to be most interesting to you right now across all of Office 365. So Delve is powered by the Office Graph. We're seeing a lot of tools with Office 365 really work in that machine learning. In some of our other sessions, we've talked about Clutter and how you can help Clutter learn to kind of house your different emails, the ones that you really want to pay attention to stay in your inbox, the ones that don't go to Clutter. We've seen the focused inbox come to the Outlook mobile app, and this is one more way that's using this machine learning in Office 365 to help you get the most out of your work. So one thing that always pops up is Delve is going to show you documents no matter where they're stored, and for Office 365 that means OneDrive for Business or SharePoint. You can also search different ways with Delve. You can search by people, documents, or boards. And we're seeing a lot of those boards, those content cards, make their way into Office 365. We've seen them come onto the SharePoint homepage. We've seen them come into documents. So we're going to be seeing more of that board view within Office 365 itself. So this is just a quick screenshot of what Delve looks like if you don't have it as part of your Office 365 account. This is available with a lot of the different enterprise accounts and some of the education accounts, and it's also available as an add-on for certain plans as well. But just in case you don't have it, this is pretty much the home page that we're going to take a look at in just a minute. So you can see you can open it from your app launcher, your waffle icon. You can come in and search items. You can go and view your own documents, your recent documents. It's a really great way to work and get back to recent documents without having to dig through your OneDrive folder. You can even search on other people, like I said, or you can just pick open a card and just go into that specific document and see the information that's listed. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you within Office 365 itself how Delve looks. Now they did also put into beta a Windows 10 app, and of course there's also a mobile app as well. But first we're going to go look into on Office 365. We'll come back to the mobile app in just a little bit. We're going to go directly to the website. So let me switch over to that one. Now this is one of my demo accounts, Katie Jordan. So you're not going to see a whole lot in our demo accounts, but I'm even going to show you my personal one towards the end of our session today. So again, on your Delve homepage, you've got some basic information. You've got your profile, which is usually loaded in by your administrators from Active Directory or Azure, depending on what you're running. Sometimes you can modify this information, sometimes you can't. You can see your most recent documents. So if you're one of those people who stores a lot within OneDrive and you've got to go through all your folders, this is a great way to quickly find your recent documents. You'll notice that like some areas in Office 365, you can change your background cover photo if you'd like. But then you can see your documents here. You're going to see the basic information on the top of each card, who modified that document and when it was last modified. You can see we've got friendly dates here. If you have documents that have been modified more recently, you'll start to see those yesterday, 2 days ago, that sort of thing. And then you can see in some cases we've got a private document here and it's indicated by a padlock. Below it you can see where the document itself is located. So in this case these are some on SharePoint sites and this is on a OneDrive. You can see that there's a tag here. I can add this item to my favorites. I can add it to an actual board, and then we've got the ever popular ellipsis. So if we wanted to send a link to this document, copy the link, or if we wanted to see who this document is shared with. So again, very similar experience to what you're going to see across other Office 365 menus with that ellipsis. It's going to take a while for that page to load, and it's going to bring me over to my SharePoint site so I can see who that document is shared with. But as I scroll down, I have also got the option to see what are people working on. These are people that I'm going to be working with pretty regularly, so this information may change over time as I work with others on documents or as I email others. But I can click into one person and say, let me see what Garth is working on. And I'm going to be able to see Garth's documents. Now, the minute people see this in Delve, the one thing we have to mention is Delve is never going to change permissions. So if you already don't have access to it, you're not going to see it in Delve. There's not going to be a backdoor way you can go in and see what private documents Garth is working on. That's not going to happen in Office 365 and certainly not going to happen in Delve. That's no different from any of the other permissions across Office 365. You only see what you have permission to. But you can see I have a really good view of what Garth has been working on, his recent documents. Now again, this is a demo tenant, so some of these dates are a little outdated since I created the tenant about 2 months ago. But I can scroll down and then I can see documents that people around Garth are working on. So maybe there's a project that I'm interested in and I just want to see what other people are working on. Delve is a great way to see that, especially you don't want to be crawling through different SharePoint sites and trying to figure out where stuff is sorted. Delve can let you see the project as a whole by the people who are working on it. You can also search by documents. So it's a great way to get in there and go through that information overload and try and see what are people really working on a project, or what are they working on, last week versus this week. Now again, you can always go back to your home page and that's going to show you the basics. So cards that you've sorted here, if you've created any new boards for this, popular documents in your organization, you can scroll through that. And again, on every single one, you're going to see who modified it, when it was modified, where it's stored. And then you're going to be able to see on this one, it's part of a board. So you can go in and manage that board. And then again, the ellipsis menu, if you want to copy a link or share a link or see who it's shared with. So you can see this is just, again, a search tool. When Delve was first pushed out, it was kind of nicknamed Pinterest for Office 365 because of the view of it, but it really is a powerful tool. So if I wanted to come in here and just do a quick search on expenses, I'm going to find different documents, both in the title of the document and then within the document itself, it's going to pick up different items with that search term. You can see I've got a whole bunch of ones here. Now, I've got Word documents, I've got Excel documents, I've got project files, lots of different files, really, really quick and responsive search terms, and I can dig down further into each of those if I wanted to. So I can also come in and again, I showed Garth as the example, but I can search by people as well. So if I didn't have him on my Delve screen, I can come in and just search by his name. One of the other personas for my demo tenant is Sarah. So again, really, really easy to come into Delve right away and just see what's in there. And I haven't done a whole lot. It's populating this information for me based on the Office graph. So it's showing me what people are already working on, what I'm already working on, what people around me are working on. You can see the other area, we've got a few different boards here. So I've got marketing campaigns. So again, really, really powerful tool, just kind of sits there in the background in Office 365. Not a lot of people pay attention to it, but some really powerful stuff going on there. Now I'm going to jump over to the Windows 10 app really quickly since I got that pop-up. And this is the preview version of the Windows 10 app. They just pushed it out very, very recently, so you do get the warning that you're in preview. I'm signed in with my Katie account, but you can see again, I've got a very similar menu to what I have online. I've got my favorites. I can come in and discover documents. I can come in and look at, people that I work with, and then I can also give them feedback. So that ever popular feedback for all of the Windows apps. So very similar experience. You can see that I can come through and, click through items. I can come in and search. So I just put this app on my demo machine this morning. So if I come in and search for expenses, it's going to show me very similar items to what I got online. So great looking Windows 10 preview app. So this is another area that you can access Delve. Now there is also a Delve mobile app as well. So you're going to have that same functionality that we would expect from the mobile apps like we've taken a look at. You've got the online components. You've got, a simplified menu. But again, really, really powerful tool there. So we're going to go back to our presentation slide. And the one thing that always comes up is permissions. We've already talked about this a little bit, but Delve is really here to help you find what other people are working on, and then for you yourself to see how you're spending your time. But again, we have to stress, Delve is never going to change permissions. So you and others are only going to see the documents that they already have access to. Some people also worry about, well, what if I have a document I want to keep completely private? I don't want it showing up in Delve. How can I do that? The simple way is don't share it. You keep it in OneDrive for Business, and you make sure that that document isn't shared with anyone. And that document is going to be marked on your Delve dashboard with a padlock and the text private document. So we already saw that in KDJ's Delve dashboard, but I'll show it again in a minute. Delve also works with your email, so there is an Outlook add-in that is available, and email attachments will show up in Delve. But again, it's only going to be the people in that email thread that have access to it. So it's not going to go and add other people just because it's an email. It's going to assume, hey, you emailed this attachment out to these 4 individuals, therefore these 4 individuals in your organization have permission to view it. And those are going to show up with an attachment. Now, boards are open to everyone in your organization. We saw an example of a couple of boards on our dashboard. There was a marketing one there, but the same thing applies. If there's a document in that board that's available to the whole organization, but maybe only the managers have access to it and you're not a manager, you're still not going to see that. So permissions work the same way that they would in SharePoint or Office 365 in general. If you want somebody to be able to view something, they're going to be able to view it. If they don't have access to it, they're not going to see that document. Just something to really, really stress. You know, it's only going to cover what you can already see. But it is a really great tool for working on projects. It helps you find other things. So one of the things that we're going to take a look at really quickly, I'm just going to show you once again those permissions. And we saw that very quickly with KDJ's board. I'm going to go back to her Me documents. We can see that that private document, happens to be the OneNote notebook, lives on her OneDrive, hasn't been shared with anyone else, and it's marked with a green padlock in this case, but it says private document. So right off the bat, it's showing you this document stays private. Now, the other thing that sometimes comes up is Delve will show the number of views, and some people say, well, hey, this document shows that it's been viewed 7 times. What does that mean? That means that you've opened that document 7 times. That doesn't mean, you know, somebody other than you saw it. It's really counting the number of times you've seen that document. So we can see, again, this isn't shared with anyone else. Let me click away these reminders really quick. If we go into advanced, again, you know, it's going to say still no items. So it's just going to show you the permissions for that particular item. Now we can see that I can still add this to my favorite, and if I make this part of a board, maybe I wanted to add it to the marketing campaigns board, that doesn't mean other people are going to be able to see it because I'm the only one who has access to that. So the other thing that comes up around documents and permissions is how does information get into Delve? The way that you get the most out of Delve is by making sure you store the documents where it's going to have access to. So that means OneDrive for Business or SharePoint Online. Now, again, if you do want to limit what documents people can see and your organization is using Delve, you're not going to be able to turn it off completely, but there are settings that you can change to limit what information shows. So you can see right on the home page, because this is such a popular question, you can see there's a link here, learn about why you can trust Delve. Now, if we click on that, it's going to take us to a Microsoft article, and it's going to give us some information, you know, who can see my documents, who can see attachments, what about the documents on the board, how can I share it, how can I keep it private, a lot of the same things that we've already covered in our session. And if you want to scroll down all the way to the bottom, can I turn off Delve? It's going to remind you if your organization is using Delve, you're not going to be able to get rid of it completely, but you can go into your settings and actually turn off your own documents. So very, very clear article on, you know, what is Delve going to do, and they answer that question because, again, it's a popular one. But as you can see right from my Me page, it's only going to show me what I have access to. So there's even some items here that the administrator has shared with others. Again, not a whole lot going on, but just remember that, you know, if you want to keep a document private, store it in your OneDrive for Business, make sure it's not shared with anybody, and you're always going to see your private documents tagged as that. So I can also click See All to see more of my documents, and you can see I've got a lot more documents that are private. So I know right off the bat these aren't shared with anybody. I'm the only person seeing them. Nobody else has access to them because I haven't shared them. You can see for the most part, these are all in my OneDrive. So it does a great job of keeping your information private. And then again, you can see most of the ones that are shared are in a SharePoint site. So if we go over to the Windows 10 app, it's going to be very, very similar. So we can see all of my documents. And again, I have the choice in the Windows 10 app to see documents and attachments only. So we remember that this is coming, from email. Like you can see in the Windows 10 app, it says it's coming soon. This is why it's a preview app. So if we click back to documents, it's going to give me that same notification, when were these documents shared, when, who modified it, but very, very similar interface. You can see I've just got a slightly different view. You've always got the info if you want to know more about, this particular section. Those info boxes will tell you a lot of information all throughout Delve. So documents, again, very, very powerful tool in Delve. It's going to let you see what you're working on, but then also what others are. That's one of the things I use it for the most, but you never have to worry about permissions as long as you understand the way permissions work within Office 365 and SharePoint, how sharing works. That's the one way you can always ensure that your private documents stay private. So we're going to go back to our slide deck. And one of the things that I want to spend a little bit more time on in this session is Delve Analytics. So analytics are actually pretty new to Office 365. They really pushed this out with a blog post in April of this year, so they've only been around for a few months. And this is really your own personal dashboard for work. It's going to give you a summary of how much time you spend in meetings, how much time you spend drafting and answering emails, how much time you spend on focused work, which is anything that's not a meeting with other people lasting 2 hours, and then how much time you spend after hours. It allows you to come in and set goals for each of these areas so you can monitor and say, hey, I don't want to work any time after hours, but I noticed that I've been averaging 4 to 5 hours after hours for the last month or so. There is an Outlook add-on that's available. And again, it's letting you see all these analytics through your Office 365 account. So in the case of emails, sent in and received emails. Now, this is one that if people were already a little worried about Delve and seeing what documents they're working on and other people are working on, they get a little more worried when they see the analytics. Delve Analytics is made just for you. Nobody else can see it. You're the only person who has access to it. Unless you invite somebody to come over and look at your screen, they're never going to have any idea what your analytics look like. But this is a really, really powerful tool. So you have to remember that analytics are always very similar to Delve. It's going to be maintaining privacy. So you're not going to see personal details. You're going to see the aggregate information. And again, nobody is going to be able to be identified from these stats generated by Delve Analytics. We're going to see that in just a little bit. I'm really excited about Delve Analytics. It's something that I've started to use more and more, and it's really helping me to adjust my work schedule and the way I work to be a little bit more effective. One thing I realized very early on is that I tended to send emails after hours, and I could look at the analytics and see, I answer emails at the end of the day, and I'm sending these emails at the end of the day, but that's maybe not an effective time for me to be sending emails. They're getting lost in people's inboxes, and I don't want to be working after hours anyway. So it's one of those tools that, again, it's not trying to give you more information. It's really trying to give you a tool where you can adjust your work schedule and your work patterns to be more effective. So since I have a demo tenant, you're not going to see a lot of information in Katie's analytics because, again, it's a demo tenant. I'm not really active in it, but I'll show you the screen and you can see the way it's laid out. And then I'm going to show you a little insight into my own world, and you'll see my own personal Delve analytics. You can get an idea of the sort of information that you can have. So you can see it's going to give you some basic stats right off the bat. Meeting hours, I have a goal here. It's under 10 hours, but I've actually had 12 hours in meetings. And you can see there's a date range here. So it's looking at the last 7 days. Email hours, again, this is a demo tenant. I'm not in it that often. Focus hours, and again, focus hours, if you want to learn more, you can always click the learn more, and it's going to give you some information on what is focus hours. Focus hours are defined as 2 consecutive hours of time without meetings. So those little learn more links will give you a lot of information. And then after hours, goal settings. And again, if I wanted to know, well, what are they defining as after hours, we can come in and it's going to show time spent on email and meetings outside defined work hours. So one of my early sessions, I talked about how you can go into Outlook itself and set what your working hours are. So if you set those working hours in your email, Delve's going to pick up what it considers after hours by that connection. You've got a network section, so it's talking about people that you communicate with the most. And again, you can see not a lot's populated here. It's telling me there's not enough history. You need to come back and check later. If you have a manager assigned, it's going to show information for you and your manager. And you've always got this view details button. So it's going to break it down, the time spent, what time is meeting time, the read and response time. And it's not going to look like a whole lot in this demo tenant, but I'm going to show you mine in just a little bit. So it'll calculate your meeting hours. Are you multitasking in meetings? Are they after hours meetings? Are they recurring meetings? So it's even going to break down the type of meetings that you have. So if you can come in and see, wow, I spend a lot of hours on recurring meetings. Those are meetings that happen on a regular basis. Maybe that's something that we can look at scheduling less of. Is it a regular task? Can we push that out through SharePoint Online and not have that regular meeting? This is a great tool to be able to dive into those things and see how you can be more effective with your time. And then it's going to track your email habits. Not only how much have your emails been read, but how many have you read from people that have sent to you and how much hours you're spending just on email alone. And then focus habits, and it's going to give you a chart from day to day. So when I was looking at my own personal Delve analytics, one thing I noticed is that Mondays tend to be high focus days for me and Friday afternoons. So that was par for the course and what I expected, but it allows me to adjust that. And you may see some surprising things just by having these graphs and representations of the time that you're spending. So you can scroll down. It's going to give you the after hours work. Katie is very, very punctual. She doesn't work any time after hours. But this is, again, not a whole lot of information in here, so it's really hard to see how powerful it is. Now I'm going to show you the Outlook add-in really, really quickly. So we're in Katie's inbox, and you can see on our home ribbon we've got the Delve Analytics. Now if I open this, it's going to tell me there's not a whole lot because it only tracks it for 14 days, and I haven't refreshed the data in my tenant. So I would have to come in and send a few emails to really be able to track this information. But you can click on a specific email and get the information on that specific email with an Outlook. And you can see, this is very brand new. We're still trying to collect information, but you can imagine that if you can open an email and say, hey, you sent this email at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday, and that wasn't very effective because it was after hours, it's going to allow you to rethink, I need to make it a point to send my emails in the morning, not in the evenings, or something along that lines. So I'm going to jump into my own personal analytics. This is my, my Office 365 tenant, so you're getting a little inside peek into my world. And you can see what this looks like when information is actually populated. So my meeting hours, are under my goal of 10 hours. My email hours are under my goal of 10 hours. My focus hours are really, really high. And then I've gotten my after hours. My goal is 0, and I've got a little bit of work to do on that. And again, if I look at time settings, it's going to tell me what time zone it is, what my work week is, and I can always come in and modify that. I can go back a few weeks if I wanted to look at prior ones. You can see the week before, I had even less after hours work. So it's a really, really powerful tool. So this is telling me, my after hours work has been getting longer. That's where I know I need to come in and make an adjustment. So again, this is just some of the information that you can get from Delve. Nobody else can see this other than me. I can see my network has been growing a little bit. I spend a lot of time with my manager. I also have been spending time with some other project team members. I can expand that and see just how much time I've spent with certain people. And this will change over time as the projects I work on change over time. You can see some other information, here. Me and my manager have collaborated 4 hours in the last week. We really haven't had any meetings because we do a lot of chat online and stuff. Our response time is really, really good. I can scroll down and look at my meeting habits, and I can see there again are those recurring meetings that I've got, those take up a big chunk of my time. Maybe that's something that I want to modify and see, can we push this information out through a SharePoint site? How else can we cut down on those meetings that are recurring? And if you click into view details, you're always going to get a little bit more information. So you can see that there's going to give you the meeting specifics there for all your subjects. So if you wanted to dive even further and see what's adding up to 4.3 hours, you really can. Email habits are a really, really interesting one for me. So a lot happens in the business world through email. So you can imagine that, this is really powerful. If you come in and see that my emails are not being read, they've dropped to 80%, that's going to be an indication to me. How do I need to modify my email habits? The same token, if I see that I've stopped replying to people, or maybe my replies have the time has increased, again, what's going on in my work world? Is it because I have more meetings or less focus hours that I need to come in and modify my email response time? So some really detailed analytics that you can get in here. You can also see the change from last week. So that's really, really interesting. And then again, focus hours. It's going to give me what my company average is, and these are hours that I've spent dedicating time to certain tasks. So if I've blocked off my calendar for a work task, am I really getting that time? So this has been a big focus week for me as we get closer to end of month and I start to put together reports for customers, but this may change week to week. So this is, again, another powerful tool. If you see those focus hours really drop off, that may be an indication that you're missing time that you need to get to those bigger projects, those bigger work items. And then, of course, after hours work. And it's going to show you which days you've had those after hours work. So Wednesday was an unusual day for me. I had some time after hours. I may know, oh, okay, this event happened on Wednesday. That makes complete sense. But if I see a trend where every Wednesday this is happening, again, I can go back and look at my schedule. What can we adjust? What's causing this? Let's work on that. So this is a really powerful tool if you want to see where your time is spent. Again, remember, Delve Analytics are only created just for you. Nobody else is ever going to see this. So it's just a tool for you to come in and see where is my time being spent. If I'm getting great read receipts on my emails, but I'm not having enough time to have some focus time because all I'm doing is answering emails, maybe that's an adjustment to be made. In my case, I know a lot of my after hours time is spent answering those emails, so maybe that's another adjustment that can be made. But it's some really powerful information in there. I'm really interested to see how the analytics work into Outlook. I haven't played around with that too much. But again, this is just one other piece of this Delve information that you can come in and take a look at, much like Katie's information on her home screen. Those documents are going to change over time. The boards may change over time in the organization, but it's a really great tool that's included in a lot of Office 365 plans. So that's our look at Delve today. This is a newer tool within Office 365, and we know that there's always a lot of changes going on through Office 365, and that's something that organizations struggle with. There's so many changes coming down the line. Delve may be something that you've seen the icon on the app launcher and really didn't know what it meant until you joined us today. So how do you push this information out to your users? How do you make sure that they have the information they need to not be afraid to dive into Delve or not just go immediately to their settings and turn it off? One of the tools that can help you with that is Evolve 365, which is a Planet technology service. It's a subscription-based help desk as a service for Microsoft Office 365, and it's designed to help you increase your end-user adoption and evolve your organization to be more productive. We have more than 25,000 on-demand self-help training videos that your users can come in and access. So if they wanted to come in today and find out more about Delve, they can go on search on Delve and find a series of videos, and they can click one video at a time or follow some guided training to get all the information that they need on Delve. This takes the weight off of your own internal help desk, and then it's one more tool and resource for your end users. We also have additional add-ons such as live support and vision and planning sessions, but every subscription comes with a dedicated Office 365 trusted advisor like myself. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about Evolve 365, we do have a free trial site. Now this has just a sampling of the videos available for Evolve 365. There's about 200 different videos. So it'll give you an idea of the way the content is presented. Most of our videos are 30 seconds to a minute long, so users can come in and search and quickly find the answers they need. And then we also have some jumpstart guides and some guided training as well. You can access the free trial site at freetrial.o365support.com. You can also go to our website at o365support.com or send us an email at info@o365support.com if you have any questions. I hope our session on Delve today has been useful. We do have our September series available now for registration. We're going to be talking about surveys, SharePoint, and we're going to dive into some Windows 10 features in September. We also have another webcast series coming up in September, specifically on business intelligence and Power BI that you might be interested in. You can find that information at go-planet.com/events. Again, if you ever miss a session for our tips and tricks, you can find those on our YouTube channel. And we also have our first annual Office 365 Summit for Government coming up in Washington, D.C. on October 6th. Registration is free for all government and military organizations, and we hope that some of you can come and join us at that. I hope this session today on Delve has been useful. Again, we're here every Wednesday, and I hope that you'll join us next week. Thanks everyone for attending today.